Welcome back to the 2016 Skyrim modding guide. This episode we finished retexturing all the vanilla armor and weapons. We'll wrap up aMidianBorn Book of Silence with his weapons and unique items. We'll install better shaped weapons, unique uniques, real bows, and some more Dawnguard gear. Then we'll blaze through another lightning round. This is a longer episode, guys, so get some coffee. Hey guys, it's Cal from Dirty Weasel, and you may remember in episode 12, we installed all of the aMidianBorn Book of Silence armors, and here in episode 13, we are going to install the aMidianBorn Book of Silence weapons and uniques, and make some fixes and adjustments to make them look a little better, and we'll try and fill out some missing items to round out the whole package, because you'll notice that when we get into aMidianBorn, it's missing some stuff. I thought it was, things we need to mention. So let's go on to the Nexus and we'll take a look at our first thing. And that, of course, is aMidianBorn Book of Silence by Cabal 120, Emerald Rain, and the AMB team. So at mod number 24909. So we've read this before, we know what we're getting into, but we need to see the files that we're going to do for the weapons. Coming down to files, and you look, and you're going to need the aMidianBorn Book of Silence weapons. Download that with Manager. And then you're also going to need two hotfixes. That's the Skyforge Hotfix. Download that with manually to your desktop. And then we get into the uniques. And that is going to be the aMidianBorn Book of Silence unique items. Go and download that with Manager. And there's one hotfix for that as well. And it is the Staff of Magnus hotfix. Download that manually and put it on your desktop. So, and then for completionist's sake, we'll also go and grab the aMidianBorn Blade of Woe, mod number 51130, and you can see it changes the Blade of Woe. Okay, this is basically for the completionist. We'll end up throwing that into the weapons pack, but basically, there you go. So, file on that, there is basically 2K mesh, download with Manager. Easy peasy. So I'm going to close these out, and we will go take a look at them on Mod Organizer. So when you pull this up, you can see I have them all here. And you can see I have a few other things that we'll get into later on. And the two hotfixes are right there. Let's take care of those two hotfixes right now. We'll just drag them over and drop them in. There we go. They're both right there. And we'll query the info on both of these and let them update. So now, aMidianBorn Book of Silence weapons. You can see we still have the same setup as we had before. Here's all of our aMidianBorn stuff. And you would double click to install. It's going to have a foam mod pop up in just a second. Okay, and here's the foam mod. Now it's going to give you aMidianBorn Book of Silence armors as the default name. I obviously, since we talked about the aMidianBorn Book of Silence armors, you may need to change that multiple times. You don't want to be merging a bunch of stuff into it. So we're going to change that name to aMidianBorn Weapons. And we'll just do it lowercase so it matches what I have already. Install weapons default or custom. I'm going to go ahead and do custom just to show you the options. But the default will work fine. It will install everything. You don't need to worry about it too much. But we'll go through custom so you can see it all. And you open this up a little bit. And see if my mouse is failing on me. It's on its last legs. You have Draugr, Dwarven, Iron, Orcish, Silver, Skyforge, Staves, and Steel. There's a couple things that you need to know. Skyforge is missing a few pieces. But that's what the hotfix is for. We'll add those pieces in. So you can go through and just click all these things. And here's my note. If you go through this list, you'll see a couple things. You will not see Daedric. You will not see Dragonbone. We'll try and fix that later on in, with other mods, but that's just something to be aware of and something to keep in mind. And then the Skyforge, we'll talk about that. And the Staves will have a fix for the Staff of Magnus. It's a minor mesh issue. Go ahead and just install that. There we go. Activate it, and we can move it up. Let's go ahead and, there we go. That's just what I want. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight it and copy it, since I always forget I have to do that, and I end up typing things in, which is really annoying. So for the first thing, we'll go ahead and put in the Skyforge Hotfix. This is going to add a number of different missing things. And you can see aMidianBorn, Book of Silence, Weapons. So we are good there. Manual. And let's take a look here. Data, right set, trade on that. And we'll take a look at the weapons, Skyforge. You can see it's basically adding in the missing things. The arrow, the bow, the Skyforge steel, and the Skyforge steel unique. So that looks good. aMidianBorn, Book of Silence, Weapons. We're just merging these in to add the ones that are missing. So click OK. And we'll merge it in. So there you go. We're all set and ready to go on that. Now, let's clean this up a little bit. We'll remove that from view, and we will remove the hotfix from view. There we go. Now on the Blade of Woe, go ahead and double click to install. And I'm going to go ahead and put in that name. So since it's a simple install and we're not going to be changing these a lot, aMidianBorn, Book of Silence, Weapons, that's what we want. Manual, set data directory, meshes, and textures. That's fine. That'll work very well. Go and click OK and merge it in. So now when you open this up, let's go ahead and cancel that update since we have the right one. We'll just go ahead and open this up into our file tree and take a look. Textures. There's our Skyforge. The Blade of Woe should be here somewhere. Blade of Woe right there. And the meshes are in here as well. So we're good to go. Now you will notice there is an ESP with this. And there are a number of scripts. The scripts are needed to get the Skyforge weapons to appear properly. You may see some guides that tell you can just go and deactivate this. No, you can't. It will not work. Trust me, it will not work. So go ahead and close that. That's going to work very well. Plugins on this, you can see it's going to add it at the bottom. You can use Loot to go ahead and run that and order it appropriately. And then you're also probably going to need to run a bash patch at some point. You know, we're getting to the point where we're starting to add some things in, and getting a bash patch may be the appropriate way of doing things, but that comes at a later time. So go ahead and we'll go back to our downloads. I'm going to clean this up again since we have those out of the way. Remove from view, and there we go. Let's move on to the aMidianBorn Book of Silence unique items. We can go ahead and double click to install. And you can see it opens this foam mod. Once again, it wants to name it aMidianBorn Book of Silence Armors. And I think that, I would rather have it the same things we had before, the same thing we had before. Just put them all in weapons, I think. But it's up to you. I don't anticipate changing a lot of these things. So that I'm just going to go ahead and put it all into weapons and just call it done, because it has some unique weapons in here, a few other things, but there you go. We'll go through the custom so you can see it, but basically it will install everything that way, just fine. Just so we can see it, what we're doing. Target the Blooded, okay. Ruth Rod, all right. Save Your Hide, you have options on this. White Fur, I think Save Your Hide with White Fur is probably the better choice. It makes it look really unique. The Helm of Ingol, Mesa Bolag Mall, or Mesa Bolag Ball, Mehu Razor, Volendrug, Soon's Armor, and the Ebony Mail. You have choices of black, golden, and silver. You notice Ebony Mail looks a lot like Ebony Armor. Probably go ahead and choose something different. I chose silver before, so maybe gold would be best for that. So gold highlight, so it makes it look a little more unique. And of course, the Staff of Magnus is there. We need that. And Dragon Priest Mask. It may overwrite the armors a bit for the Dragon Priest Mask because we already installed it, but that's up to you. It'll probably overwrite it. We know that the Dragon Priest Masks were already installed into Dragonborn Imperial Stormcloak Officer. So you could leave this blank and let this one handle it, or you can just check it and it'll still overwrite it and not change anything. So it's kind of up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and install this the way you see it, and that will get everything done. Install. And we are going to merge it into the weapons. There we go. Conflicts on this, we basically know what we're going to be looking at. We'll come over and take a look at the file tree. Meshes, scripts, textures, it's all the same stuff as what we saw before, but it's going to have extra meshes, like the Staff of Magnus, which we have to fix, right? We will go ahead and close that. Here's the Staff of Magnus hotfix. I'm going to change it. It's already aMidianBorn Book of Silence weapons. That's convenient. Yes, I didn't install that before, but somehow I knew that. So manual on this, right set data, meshes. Remember, it's just changing the wrong mesh inside the Staff of Magnus, which is inside Book of Silence weapons. Click OK and merge it in. And there you go. You're all set. So we can go ahead and remove from view on these. And we will come back and we will start fixing things up and adding some missing pieces. All right, guys, so let's move on. First off, a little bit of housekeeping. I went ahead and noticed that there was an odd error on Book of Silence armors, and that's because during testing between episodes, I messed this install up. So it only had some Dragonborn. Remember, these things get renamed, so this was just Dragonborn. I had it misnamed when I reinstalled it, testing something. But it's fixed. It's back to normal. Everything is working good now. You saw some weird conflicts with the weapons and the armors. It's been fixed now. Also, on the aMidianBorn Book of Silence, the more I thought about it between segments, I decided to put it weapons and uniques. I renamed it to weapons and uniques. I felt that was a better appropriate choice for naming on that, so you know what's in here. We will move on, and we'll go back to the Nexus, and we'll show you the next mod we want to show you, and that's going to be LeanWolf's Better Shape Weapons by LeanWolf and the Master of Shadows. Mod number 39870. What this does is remeshes all of the bladed weapons in the game to make them appear skinnier. I mean, the default weapons in the game, they look kind of like boat oars. They're just wide and ugly. And what it does is skinnies them down, makes them more streamlined, and they don't look so ridiculous. The second thing they do is they add scabbards or sheaths to all the weapons, and there's options that you can have no sheath on the two-handed greatswords or with sheath, and you can see pictures of those there. And I really like this mod. Read this stuff. It has some interesting instructions. Probably the most interest to some of you guys regarding dual sheath redux. It says dual sheath redux left-hand sheath meshes overwrite the DSR mod meshes. So basically what you'll do is install the DSR, dual sheath redux, after the DSR patch, right? And there's instructions on that. So make sure you read this stuff. Lots of good information. He did a really good job on this page. So, but it'll give you all the stuff we've done and some actual extra stuff in here. So just know what you're getting on this. It's pretty easy. They're basically just all meshes. But the dual sheath redux thing is something you need to be aware of. So just read that stuff. It's good stuff, good reading. On files on this, there is one main file. It is installer Bane or mod organizer. So this is the one you want, download with manager. I will point out a couple other mods that I thought were really neato. Is LeanWolf Better Shape Bound Weapon Solid. So the bound weapon would appear solid with purple flame around it. That looks really neato. Two-handed greatsword. It is a standalone. It will add a new sword into the game, so you'll have an ESP with that. Basically, all I wanted to point out to you on that. But the main one we're going to get is the LeanWolf Better Shape Weapon. We're not going to go through and show you all of the ones I got because these are all not related. They're not the same, so we'll go ahead and just go directly to Mod Organizer. So, LeanWolf's Better Shaped Weapon Installer. Double-click to install. And you see as a foam mod, you have no greatsword sheaths and the dual sheath redux patch. I want the greatsword sheaths. I want to leave this unchecked. If you're running DSR, you'll need that patch. And this will install left-handed sheath weapon meshes required for DSR. If you don't use DSR, then you don't need this. Okay, so make sure you read the instructions on that. But, I'm going to leave these both unchecked because you know what? Honestly, I don't plan on using dual sheath redux. I don't. I'm not sure why. I may change my mind. I'll have to go back in and add this later. But for right now, I'm going to leave it unchecked and move on to next. Install everything default or custom installation. We'll just go through custom installation so you can see everything. And next. And you can see we come up. And this is basically everything he's got covered, and it's a lot. You have options on some of these, so you have to pick which one you want, and it'll tell you Nord Hero Sword and Greatsword with proper sheaths, or the Runed Nord Hero Sword. So, if you have that mod, and it's the Runed Nord Hero Weapons mod, you'll need that. That's why we, check these, so you can always know what your options are. And you keep going down. I think there's another one here. If you want refraction or not refraction, I'm just going to go regular on keening. Let's just go up and check these all in order. Yes. Okay, and then we get to the last options. Glass weapons, Dawnbreaker. You see Dawnbreaker is remeshed also. Dawnguard, Dragonbone. So just know what you're getting in this. And everything else has been checked. Yes, Nord Hero Quiver, Forsworn Quiver, Falmer Quiver. So everything's done. I mean, it adds a bunch of new stuff. And then we click next. So, glass dagger, glass swords. Glass dagger and swords, yes. Opaque refractive glass with blood. And these are options. So, reflective glass for use with transparency mod. All right, well, we don't have the transparency mod. Blood cannot appear. Okay, refractive glass for transparency. So just know what you're getting on this. Read these different options and choose the one. I'm just going to choose default glass and dagger and sword. Glass quiver, I don't think I need. With refraction, I think I'm fine with that. Chill rend, yeah, we want chill rend. And you have opaque with refraction and blood, or refractive chill rend for transparency. Read these up here so you know what you're getting, okay? Make your appropriate choices. I'm fine with chill rend the way it is. And click next. So many options. So you have options on this. You have Dawnbreaker Elven Sheath, or if you Dawnbreaker Elven Sheath for an ENB. Just know if you're going to run an ENB, you may need to come back in here and check this. We'll just go ahead and, talk about the Elven Sheath and the Dwarven Sheath. So you have options on Dawnbreaker. You have Dwarven or Elven. I always thought Dawnbreaker looks better with the Dwarven, and there's an option for an ENB. Just so you know what you're getting, make sure you read this stuff. Lots of options. Click next. And then you have Dragonborn swords. And these are interesting, is they have pommels with stones in them. So the Dragonborn swords just have nothing. No pommel gem. But if you want gems, you can make a choice there. Dragonborn, I'm probably boring. And Dragonbone quiver, you can have a quiver with a stone as well. I'm just going to put boring. All right, because I'm boring and old. And more quivers, aerial quivers. Sure, why not? And next, Stalhrim daggers and swords. You have options for opaque Stalhrim with refraction and blood, reflective Stalhrim for transparency, kind of like we talked about with glass. I'm just going to choose normal, quiver, or refraction. It's up to you. Nordic weapons and swords. Yep, I want those. And install. Wow, that's a lot. Thing to remember on this, it will overwrite the weapons because many of the meshes that were available in the weapons have been changed. It's also going to change all your default ones too. So it covers a lot. Just make sure that it is always after anything that changes weapons. You can put it up, but just make sure if you have any, vanilla mesh weapons, it will want to change them, and this always needs to be after it. So like when you do your DSR patch, you're going to have to put it all the way down the bottom underneath DSR. So just a tip for the future, just something to keep in mind if you're thinking about dual sheath redux. All right, and we are going to remove from view. Let's do, what's next? Unique Uniques. We'll do that one next. And we'll close that down. Unique Uniques by Sanity Sorrow, mod number 33292. It is going to cover almost all of the other uniques that were not covered by aMidianBorn. And you'll find that it's kind of funny. They don't overlap. When you look at this, they are quite good. I like them a lot. Some people complain, Red Eagle's Bane Fury is not, lore friendly. Okay, well, if you look at it, you look at the images, where is it? It is down here somewhere. I think it's, no, it's not Windshear. It's one of the others. I think it's it right there. They say that that's not lore friendly. I don't really care. It looks good. And the default mesh for that was just a Nordic rune sword or something like that. It was very ugly and not very attractive one so bit. So I like this mod a lot. It does have on the files only one main file. Download with that with Manager, and we'll talk about what's in there when we get to Mod Organizer. So download that with Manager. Uniques, double click to install. And here's all your options. Okay, alternate Dragonbane Golden, alternate Oath Blades, and Angie's Bow Scope. So these are your three options on this. It's going to install most of the uniques, but Dragonbane Golden is a unique weapon, and you can have one with a golden option, as opposed to what's included in uniques. Same with the alternate Oath Blade, it matches it to more look like Blade's armor. I like that one. I wasn't a big fan of that. It changes it from ebony to gold. I'm fine. And Angie's Bow Scoped. No, I don't do scoped weapons on my bows. I just don't. Go ahead and install that and activate it. Now on plugins, you will see it has Uniques ESP. And you may be asking if it's just a retexture. Let's open it up. Come on. Thank you. You look at it. Uniques, textures, screenshots, weapons, textures, Oath Blade is the only one. And most of the textures are included in the BSA. BSL you can leave. Uniques ESP. And you may be asking, why does it need an ESP if it's just going to be retexturing? Well, remember, many of the unique weapons in the game use default meshes and textures. If you had just replacements, it would replace all of the weapons in the game that use that same texture to what the new ones are. So it has to have an ESP to differentiate those weapons. And that's why you have an ESP in there. Just an explanation on that. Let Loot go through and organize that for you. You're going to probably need to set some bash tags, but that's in a later episode when we start getting to advanced placement stuff. But for right now, let Loot handle it, and you're probably going to need a bash patch. All right? Just talking about that. So we'll move on to the next mod. We will remove uniques. Remove from view. Let's do... Actually, we're going to skip ahead, and we are going to do Real Bows, and this by Decimus Maximus. And this is a great bow set. If you're like me and you don't appreciate the bows in Skyrim for being kind of over-the-top ugly, they're like cartoons. This guy, Decimus Maximus, is a real bow maker. And he designed these bows to look like real bows, and they have a much better appearance to them. I'm not going to go through and show you them in game, but they just look really, really nice. And some of his choices are really, really cool. If you look, for instance, at where is a good example? Here we go. The Elven Bow. Look at the size of that thing. It is a unique design, and you're not going to see it a lot. So one other thing to think about is in these pictures, third-person view, the arrows are longer. You may want to go ahead and, if you play third-person or take screenshots, you may want to get a weapon mod that extends the length of the bows. So in first-person, they look perfectly normal. So just something to think about. But they look great. I think these are very, like, here's a glass bow. It looks like a real bow. It looks like a real bow with a lining of glass laminated to the outer edge of the bow. It just looks so good, and they're unique designs. I mean, the Dwemer bow is a compound bow with 2 layers, and it looks very Dwemery. It's not for everyone, but I like it a lot. Let's install it. Real bows, light. Oh, I forgot to show you the files on this. Files on this, there are a 20 by 48 textures and a 12 by 20 or 10 by 24 1K textures. You're going to see me install the 1K, but after testing, I would say go ahead and download the 2K. As a matter of fact, I may just do that right now. I'll let that go. what I found with the 1K is in first-person view, they looked a little muddy. And it's probably something you may want to think about. So optional files, you have alternate textures, replace the default colors with vanilla style colors. So Real Bow standalone, MIP mapping, I would just ignore these. I think this is probably the better one to use, this 1.05. That's the one you want. Download with Manager on that, the 1K or the 2K textures, however you want. So make sure I get rid of that one. Just delete it. And we'll install the 2K bows. Because if I play Fiona a lot for testing, I want a good looking bow. Chances of being a little noisy in the background. FOMOD on this. You're going to see options for all these things. And we'll open it up and take a look. And basically, you're going to have options for Purchas Maximus and the vanilla Perma short bow. You probably want to go ahead, and it doesn't really say this, but from my reading on this, is that you want to go ahead and if you are running Purchas Maximus, you can click this one. So you have to make your choice. You can have the short bow and the long bow, but they're for Purchas Maximus only. Or you could have the vanilla and perma short bow. Just so you know what you're getting on this, don't click all of them. Just make your choice based off of whether you're using perma. If you're using Purchas Maximus, you can click all of them. You just go through and click them all. If you are not using Purchas Maximus, make sure you click the one that says vanilla. And only the ones that say vanilla. All right, and those are all checked off. So that looks good. I have all of just vanilla bows, no Purchas Maximus bows for me. I'm going to click install. Activate it and open it up. Go to your file tree on this. Meshes and textures, that's all it did. So you can see that's all we're getting. Go and close that down. No ESP on this, simple retexture. And you can, of course, move this up wherever you want because the only thing that's affecting is the, Skyrim ESM. So we're done there. We remove real bows. And we'll remove that. And the next mod we'll take a look at is EotW, or EotW. I don't know how to pronounce what he's got going on with his name there. The Dawnguard Textures Remastered. It is mod number 69101. This is a complete redo of the Dawnguard weapons and armor. And we installed Dawn of the Dawnguard for the armors, and it did not include any of the weapons. This includes both. And I'll put a picture up for you of what their full armor set looks like. And I'll say right now, I don't like their armors, but I do like their shields and helmets. They look very, very nice. So this is going to need some special installation. That's why I want to show it to you, because when you come to the files, it is one file. It has all the weapons, all the armor, all the architecture, all in one thing. So download that with manual, or download that with manager. I'm getting tired. And come over to Mod Organizer. Double click to install. That name looks fine. Manual. Set data directory. Set data directory. Textures. Let's open this up and we'll take a look at what everything's inside of here. Actors. DLC. Armored Dog. Well, I don't need to retexture my armored dog, so that makes that easy. Unclick that and close it. So none of the actors and the armored dog will be there. Open this one up. Architecture, Dawnguard. You see it's doing banners, ceiling, floor, stone walls, and trim. If you're looking to do a Dawnguard retexture, this may be an option for you. It's not for me. I have other plans for it. So I'm going to unclick that. And we will move that down. And then armor. Let's do weapons first. Weapons, crossbow, dwarven crossbow, hunter axe, and hunter hammer. And you can see it also has the magic Dawnguard hammer. So we're going to keep the weapons, and we'll talk about the armor. We'll open this one up, And you can see all of the Dawnguard bodies. These are all of the body ones. So this is the armor, the gloves, the cube maps, all this stuff. If you're looking to just do the helmets and the shields and replace them, I would unclick everything you see here and only leave the shield stuff. So let's do, don't need that. I don't need gloves, boots, body. Unclick all these. So all you have is the helmet, 2 helmets. There's a light helmet and a full metal helmet. There's different shields that you need for that. And the crossbows, crossbow 1, normal crossbow, the dwarven crossbow, and all the other weapons. And it looks good. So when you activate this, you'll notice you will have a conflict with Dawn of the Dawnguard armors. Click on that, conflicts, come down here and take a look at what you're overriding. Shields, helmets, and that's it. Didn't overwrite any of the other, body type stuff. I'd go ahead and close that. No plugin on this. We're basically at where we are. And there won't be any plugins from here on out. So make sure you run loot with that to order it correctly. I'll do that in a second. We are going to talk briefly about it. And if you want to change this, obviously, if you decide you like the old ones better, you can go in and do file tree, textures, DLC, armors, and just hide the whole thing. Or just hide the armor. Right? It's up to you. Whatever you want. So we are going to close this down. Make sure you run loot to figure all this gobbledygook out. And we will move on to the next thing. All right, now we remember that, aMidianBorn was missing a bunch of parts, and we're going to go into the lightning round, and we're going to go through a bunch of mods that are just simply retextures of various mod set or various armor sets, so you can supplement all the stuff that's missing. So we'll go to the Nexus, and we will start off first with Daedric Armor and Weapon Improvement by Gary G, mod number 3104. This mod is probably not to my liking. It's much too shiny, but it is very pretty, and it does do Daedric armor and weapons. So on files on this, I would go ahead and pick, these are different glows, and you can go ahead and read about them. I would go ahead and pick one of them. I would probably pick the no glow. It is a simple retexture mod, textures and meshes only, so you don't need to worry about any ESPs on that. The second one is Black Dragonscale Armor Conversion by Angry Glock. This is a newer one, done in 2015, and it is simply kind of a grayscale Dragonscale. I like this actually. A lot of the Dragonscale mods I didn't like. This one looks pretty good. I would go ahead and files on this. It is one file with manager, meshes and textures only for both males and females. And make sure that when you do these things, if they have any meshes, you load them before UNP body armors. Okay? So UNP body armors will take over for that. So you are good for that. And let's see, next up is Art of the Dragonbone by Ghost in the Machine in mod number 64612, also done in 2015. This does just Dragonbone weapons, and you can see them right there. He basically retextured them. They're all on the left, the new ones. They look pretty good. They won't match your black Dragonscale armor I just told you about, but that's a good choice. So files on this. You have a 2K overhaul all the dragon weapons, and then you have a 1K or 2K shield. Up to you on that. So simple meshes and textures on that. Nothing special. And then finally, if you want to be like your favorite Skyrim librarian, Stalhrim armor and weapon retextures by Let the Hammer Fall, mod number 57991. And you can see them right there. And just basically ups the resolution on these. They look pretty good overall. Also does the weapons and shields. So files on this, one file. And that's all you need. So just remember that's what it's doing. And just, they're all simple things, nothing to worry about with ESPs. Just know what you're downloading and where to put it in your mod list so they overwrite the right things. So that's it for now. That was a really long episode. And the next episode, I'm ready to do a weather mod. I've been testing a bunch of them, and we're going to make my decision. And in the next episode, we'll pick a weather mod. Thanks for watching. My name's Cal. I'm from Dirty Weasel, and I'm signing off.